All right, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of Tacos en Europa. I am Jorge,
My name's Edgar.
and we will have a very brand new but a little slow episode of Tacos en Europa. But before we get started, there's a lot of nuggets in here to talk about today. But before that, let's invite you guys to obviously follow us on social media. We have a TikTok, we have a Reddit, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have a Twitter. We're very active on Reddit, talk to the fans, to all soccer fans about Mexico. So please go over there and see and let us know what you want to talk about on the next episode. You can also see us on YouTube and on all podcast platforms. Please follow us and let us know what you guys want to see. Give us a little comment, give us a little review, whatever you guys think is best, whatever you have time for. But let's go ahead and start the episode. In England with Wolverhampton Wanderers, Raul Jimenez versus Everton. Please, you can stop me if I get too violent, if I get too crazy, but we have a 1-1 tie against Everton, who is at risk of getting relegated. And this is the last home game in the Molyneux, the last home game at the home of Wolverhampton. And neither Raul Jimenez, neither Moutinho, nor Johnny get any type of minutes in this game. Moutinho wasn't even in the bench for this match.
Yeah.
And to me, that was one of the most disrespectful things that I could have seen Lopetegui ever do. Because you cannot start a new system by shitting on the previous one. Like, you have three club legends here that were a big part of what Wolves is today. You have Raul Jimenez, he's a top goal scorer in the Premier League for Wolverhampton. He helped them take them to the Europa League for the first time ever in the club history. And you're not even going to give him 2 minutes to get on the field to say goodbye to the fans. You know, to me, I just feel like whatever happened behind the scenes, it doesn't matter because the goodbye is also for the fans. And they wanted to see him on the pitch. They wanted to say goodbye to him, and they were stripped of that right.
Yeah, and the worst part is that it's not even us, like the Mexican people getting mad about it. The Wolverhampton people, the people that actually follow the team, they're really mad. They're not fighting for anything. They're not gonna get to Europe. They're not gonna get relegated. This game didn't mean anything. And not even there.
There was no reason, man. It was a dick measuring contest, man. It was just a dick measuring contest just to see who's cooler, who's better, who's in charge. But it's like, it's not about you, man. It's about the fans. It's about the people out there. And I just think it was a missed opportunity to show some respect to these guys. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Whatever happens. Let's go over to Spain. We have Andres Guardado versus Tecatito, Sevilla versus Real Betis, the Sevilla Derby. Unfortunately, none of the Mexicans play, but it is a bloodbath. It is everything that you thought it would have been, but unfortunately, no Mexican activity. So go ahead, Inke, tell us about the next match that happened in Spain.
Espanyol actually got a win for a little change. They played Rayo Vallecano there, the Madrid Necaxa. They won 2-1. The sad part is that Cesar Montes didn't get any minutes. Well, Cesar Montes didn't start the game. Yeah. He came up on the 76th or something like that, and he only came to close the game. I think one of the center back was actually injured. I'm not really sure, but I mean, it's really rough because Espanyol is really in a tough spot. They are in the relegation zone. They are 1 point away from safety, but there's 3 games left. And 2 of those 3 games are really tough. Once against Atletico Madrid, once against, I don't remember the other team. I mean, it's tough for them. So this win keeps them alive. Really alive.
Que golazo. Sorry. Chivas just scored right now against America. 2-1 now. They need one more. Yeah, man, it's insane, but I think it's not impossible. Obviously, you could take a loss against Atletico, and Getafe and Valladolid are still kind of suffering as well. So it's not the end of the world yet. I think it's going to come down to the last match. I think it could most definitely come down to that match day.
It's gonna get spicy then.
I'm sorry, man. It was crazy.
I'm telling you, most of the national team, and you're not.
Hey, we were preaching it that season, man. He just had a bad season the first time he got to Chivas, but right now he's going crazy. Oh man. Okay, back to Europe. We go to League 2, La Liga 2 in Spain. Sporting and Real Oviedo do not summon the Mexicans for these games. So let's go ahead and get to Italy, where we have Napoli versus Inter with no Chucky because he is injured at the moment. But they do win this game 3-1.
3-1 against Inter.
Yeah. And Salernitana do not play this week. They're going to play during the weekdays. And we're going to talk about it in the next episode. But Cremonese versus Bologna. They have a terrible loss. I think one of the worst games I've seen this season from both Cremonese and Johan Vazquez, with a 1-5 loss here. With this result and the other ones that happened in Serie A, Cremonese is mathematically relegated to the Serie B. And even though Johan did have a bad game, he was still a little bit consistent. He had, the 86% passes, which we love to see. He had the 3 out of 8 long balls. He had 5 out of 7 duels, 2 clearances, and 1 interception. So nothing out of the world, but nothing horrible either. I think the 5 goals is what kills him in this match. But if that hadn't happened, he would have a pretty decent game. It's just,
Yeah, that's the thing. We see the stats. We actually really like the stats they gave us. The stats give us something to follow. Like we can tally the performance. But if you see the game, like if you sit down and see this horrible, awful game, you can say, well, he didn't like mess up on the ball, but I mean, it was terrible all around for Cremonese. Like they were so out of it that sometimes Johan wasn't even like around where he should have been.
Yeah.
Like the system was falling apart. With this loss and Spezia drawing, they're basically like mathematically relegated. So
yeah, it's over.
It just fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, it's we're gonna see him in the first division anyway. He's gonna go back to Genoa, or he's gonna get sold, something like that. But he's gonna be playing first division football in the next season. But it's just sad that he wasn't able to complete this task of keeping Cremonese up in Serie A. But other than that, let's go ahead and take it over to Netherlands, where we start with Feyenoord and Santi Jimenez versus FC Emmen. A 3-1 victory for the first time in a while, with no goals from Santi Jimenez. Unfortunately, I think there is such thing as wanting it too much, and I think this game he wanted it too much. He wanted to get that closer to the golden boot, and it just wasn't like that. The other guy scored another goal against Ajax. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but with no goals right now, he's already 3 goals away from tying him with 2 matches left to go. And it's looking like it's not going to happen, I think. Or one match left to
go? It's 1 match left.
1 match left to go. So it's looking like it's not going to happen. And he just was out of it. I think the team wasn't really into it. They want to help him, but they also don't want to play anymore. They're done with their season. They already won.
They already won. That's the thing. The season's over for them. So they're playing to maybe get the ball to Santi, and that made them so predictable that it was really easy to close down their lanes. So they started to shoot from the outside. That's where you got the first goal. That was crazy, amazing goal. And then came the 2 goals from Danilo.
Yeah.
I mean, Santi still opened those spaces, but still,
the wrong striker scored in this match. And who knows, like, if Santi does leave, it's good that Danilo's getting those minutes just in case he's the one that's going to replace him, But hopefully he stays. Let's go ahead and go to the next match that happened in the Netherlands. We have Ajax, 2 matches, one against Groningen that was played across 2 days, and one against Utrecht, which we see no activity from Jorge Sanchez. But how did Edson ALVAREZ do in these 2 games?
I mean, Edson ALVAREZ had the same match day twice. He played against AC Groningen, this game that they made up since it was stopped last week. And this week they played Utrecht. And both were wins for Ajax. Very important wins because they are like 2 points behind PSV right now. And in general, Edson is playing a little bit different right now. He was moved back to the midfield. Like he was playing a center back. He's now again a pivot, but he's playing as a deep lane playmaker. He's creating a lot with long balls, and you like filtering balls to the wings. So he's trying a lot on offense, but like getting away from the defense. That's why actually Groningen could score two goals because Edson was basically playing in the box of the other team.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of space behind them. And in general, he had a great week. He created a lot. He went like 5 out of 7 long balls, 2 key passes, 4 out of 9 duels, 4 key passes against Utrecht, 2 basically goals that Brobery and Berwin missed, 8 out of 11 long balls in this game, and 117 touches on the ball. You know how much that
Imagine that, man.
Yeah. He's playing a lot with the ball, and it's great to see, but you can see how weak is Ajax in the midfield and on the lower part of the field, you know?
Yeah, maybe it's time for him to go on to greener pastures, stay till the end for a little more on that information on that topic.
You say green, I say yellow.
Yeah, some say red. We'll see. But yeah, like it's been an amazing week for Edson. I think that Groningen game was a terrible thing. You know, they had to make him go play on Saturday. They were kind of took a day off from them. So I don't think anybody wanted to be there at that point. That's why they scored 2 goals on them as well. I think I attribute a little bit of that to those 2 goals. Other than that, though, it looks like the Champions League hopes are not dead yet. PSV tied 3-3 with no winners from Guti. And you know, in this podcast, we love to see PSV fail when they don't put Guti on the field because they deserve it.
Yeah.
And this,
I mean, we all say
Ajax get a little closer to that Champions League spot.
Yeah. Guti is not the greatest defensive midfielder. You know, like he's just not. But he's the closest they have.
He's the only defensive midfielder they have.
So when you put him in, it makes a difference. It makes a really big difference because your fullbacks can go up and not leave your center backs to die alone. You know, like you put Sangare and Bierman, and those 2 are on the outside of the box. So you are so weak against a counter-attack that you just need a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, you know, to me, it's just sometimes when this happens, it just becomes like the Rule Van Nistelrooy hater podcast, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with it this week. Let's go over to Belgium, where we have some activity from Gerardo Ortega against USG once again, but this time in a 1-1 tie. They did not get 3 points both of the times against this team, and last time was the first time. This time is the second time that Genk fails Arteaga and not the other way around. So Arteaga had an amazing game in both of these legs. He had 2 interceptions right now, 5 entrances, 3 clearances, and 13 out of 16 duels. He finished up with a low 65% pass, but 1 out of 1 cross, and 3 out of 5 long balls. Arteaga was doing everything on the field. He was keeping his side like clean. 16 attempted duels with 13 completed is insane. It's insane. Yeah. So his side was clean. He was good. He also completed 4 out of 6 dribbles, which for a fullback is insane. That means he was getting to the area. He was passing the ball to his teammates. He was dangerous, you know, and in the final third. And to me, I think this is the Arteaga that I've been waiting to see. That we saw him at the beginning of the season. He kind of left for a little while, and then he just came back when they needed him most. But now Genk is not able to capitalize on these Arteaga performances. And though it's not over yet, they need a win for the next match to possibly play against Antwerp in the last match day to get that trophy. So it's not over, but it's just a little hard. They need to win the next one for sure.
Yeah, it seems tough for them right now. Like, Arteaga just had 2 great games, but I mean, the team fell apart on the window, you know. So I hope they can at least get that, you know, get to the last day and fight for the win. But
yeah,
I mean, I think it's done. I don't think this Mexican is getting his trophy.
We'll see. Well, let's not wait till the fat lady sings. So let's wait till she gives us a little choir. But right now, we also have another big news in Belgium. We have Theon Wilke, who comes back into the youth team of Cercle Brugge, and he comes back from injury like Tegatito. Well, a surprise, a little bit better of a surprise with a hat trick in his first game back from injury, man. Like this kid Obviously, it's a youth league, so we're not gonna hype it up too crazy. But I think it shows.
You know what happened to Marcelo Flores?
Yeah, we know what happens when we do it a lot. So right now, I just want to say that this kid looks like he has potential. He looks like he has a level head on his shoulders, and I think he's looking like somebody that, you know, if he can come back from injury and score 3, that's insane. So hopefully, you know, this kid develops in the right way. Hopefully, he gets first team minutes in an adult league soon. And I think next season he goes back to.
Do you remember if Young Circle was relegated? Do you remember?
This season, like the adult team or the
adult team?
The adult team, I think, is good. They're fighting to go to Europe right now.
Yeah?
Yeah. They're in the playoffs for Europe.
The Bad Bruges?
The Bad Bruges is in the playoffs to go to the Conference League, I believe.
Hey.
I will double check that right now.
That's still unexpected. I thought they were like going to relegate. Anyway.
Yeah, they're in last place. I don't think they're going to make it. Ghent is going to make it. But yeah, they're in the playoffs right now to go to Conference League.
So, good for them.
Yeah, it's cool. That's why he's not getting any minutes. That's why they're not putting him anymore.
I thought like next season he might play on the second division. You know, like we say with Jesus.
Yeah, when we have youth in teams in when you have players in the youth teams, we hope for the team to do bad so they can play in the adult leagues. But it's not going to be the case in Cercle Bruges. But what a good season for him it's been. He has like, I think, 9 or 10 goals in like as many matches. He's going crazy right now. But let's go ahead and go to the Greece with the Super League AK Athens against PAOK. I'm betting you guys it didn't play. They're going to play within the week, and we'll talk about it in the next episode. We might be able to have the 5th trophy for a Mexican this season. So stay tuned for all that. Do you want to talk about the last surprise of the episode?
By last surprise, do you mean that Chivas just scored the 3rd goal?
I looked away for 2 seconds. What is happening?
They're gonna die.
And this is legit. This is not like... What is happening?
Best crosses in the league. Also.
By far. Wow.
What's the 13?
I'm waiting for the replay.
Chiquete.
Look the way.
Chiquete.
Man, my man's crying, man. Oh my God. Can we send this over to Ajax?
You know how you bought a fullback that can cross? This one can.
This one can.
It's as old as the other one and shorter and, you know, like
what do you
maybe
cross?
Like he drinks a little bit, but he's good crossing.
Maybe that's what motivates him.
So, getting back into the Mexican
Europe. Back to Europe. What was the last surprise of the episode?
Yeah, we have a little special thing for the closing of the season. Santiago Naveda played a game as a starter for Mietz Legnica. He played like around 69, 70 minutes. And again, he's fine. He's doing fine. He's not playing his position really. He's playing as a regular midfielder, but he's a defensive midfielder. You know, he should play behind other midfielders and basically be the first defender.
Yeah.
Like get back the ball and start the attack. That should be his thing. And he's not used like that. And that happens, and he, like, you're diluting his skills by not playing him like that.
Yeah.
No, still he got 3 out of 4 long balls, 3 out of 6 duels, 82% passes, 1 out of 1 dribbles. I mean, it's fine. I will like him to get back to America and actually play. I hope they give him that opportunity, but who knows?
Yeah, the weird thing about Mietz to me is that they're playing with 2 8s instead of 2 6s. Like they're playing at 4-2-3-1, but like their 2s are like way too up front. Like if you look at the heat maps, like he's not even like in a position to defend too much. So I think a lot of it is due to like coach instructions.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, no,
blame
it's the
him at all
system.
for.
It's the system.
Yeah, I don't blame
100.
him at all for like not doing too well and not getting too many minutes. I think to me, I wouldn't say his time was a failure. You know, we'll talk about it more at
No,
the end of
no,
the,
no.
when the season ends and we do the review of all the players. But I like him a lot. I think he has a little certain something to him that could become into like national team maybe. But we'll have to see with him. But EK, to move on, tell me please, who was your favorite player this match day?
Oh, this week it had to be Edson. You know, there wasn't really anyone other that really put up a performance. You know, like you say, they had something good, but the game and the team in general wasn't great. So Edson did great in 2 games, and
Wins.
I gotta go Edson.
Yeah, 2 wins. That's pretty much it. I think to me, I think Jimenez wrote a mean bench this week. I think it was one of the best benches I've ever seen. Just because it was legendary, man. It was after that he got the Si Senor. A lot of Si Senor during the whole game. They wanted to see him out down the field, So I'm gonna go meme and I'm gonna say Raul Jimenez. You can't stop me. What was your favorite game of the week?
Now that's a different question because I there wasn't any game really great, like Fire wasn't really playing. Ajax is winning, but winning ugly. They're not really like they're wasting so much. It's not looking good.
Brobity, just say Brobity and we'll understand. That's all you gotta say.
So I'm really liking this Chivas America right now. Like it's exciting, and I don't even root for any of the 2 teams. And you know what? Just to seem a little more like intellectual, like worldly, I'm gonna say Manchester United kicking Manchester City, kicking Real Madrid's ass.
You know what, man? I'm not gonna cheat, and I'm gonna say one of the European Mexican games. I'm gonna go with Sevilla Betis, even though they didn't play, they were still on the bench, so it counts. And the bloodbath, the derby, everything. I thought it was crazy. Everton wasn't bad either.
Every time there's a Sevilla derby, it's worked.
Exactly.
It's always worked.
So I'm gonna keep it in the spirit. I'm gonna go Sevilla Betis this week.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you find for the extra column of this podcast?
Oh, in the gossip column. You mean?
I'm trying to make it sound a little cooler.
You can't.
It is what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah. So I think where we're gonna spend like the big part of this time is talking about Edson moving to Germany. Like the big rumors are going around that he's either going to Dortmund or Bayern, especially Dortmund.
Yeah.
So the thing is, Bayern doesn't really need Edson. Like he will need to fight for a spot. They don't use a central midfielder with defensive.
But he would fit though, because since Javi Martinez left, like they haven't had that like tenacious like 6.
Yeah, that really physical presence in the midfield. Yes, but they play with technical midfielders. Like he's not gonna sit neither Kimmich neither Goretzka. You could even play Gravenberch before him. So still, if you say, he's gonna play with Tuchel like having the 3 center backs, he might fit there. I agree. But if I'm with the mess that is right now, Bayern, who knows?
Yeah,
on the other side of that, you say, he goes to Dortmund, he's a starter.
It's undisputed. It's undisputed. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he doesn't fit in Bayern, or like he has to fight. I think you do have to move things around a little bit more in Bayern than in Dortmund. But I think he plays 90 minutes every week in Bayern. I think whether it's as a central defender or as some type of like double pivot, whatever. Because number one, he's been developing his front game the whole season. Like he knows what it needs to work on.
That is true.
And what better place to get developed than at Bayern, man?
He improved. Is he Bayern ready?
He can be at some point. He can be. He can learn to get there. I think he's still like a little, not young, but like youngish, and like he can still play that center back position if he needs to. I think Tuchel can fit him in there. he's not gonna be a Kante like he was at Chelsea, but he can maybe work his way to be like a poor man's Kante or something.
Maybe. Still, I think. I mean, I know what you mean. I would love for him to go to a really big team. To a challenger for the Champions League. To a team that will play semifinals, regular quarterfinals.
That's the
I
biggest
get
thing.
that, but I don't think that's the way. That's not his place right now. Like if you said maybe they want him on Liverpool, so I can see it. Like I can see him there. Maybe on Arsenal, and those things maybe can fight for it, but that's not it. Like
Yeah.
I see him at those. I would like him at those.
Obviously, I would prefer Bayern. I wouldn't cry if it goes to Dortmund. I think it'd be great. But just like speaking from the heart, I think it's like we have one player that is like worthy of going to like a Champions League contending team. And by contending, I mean semifinals at worst. That's another one. He's the only one. Maybe Santi develops really amazingly. Maybe someone else comes on later. But right now, the only player like that,
only
him. That's the only one.
You just know Guillermo Ochoa is gonna end up the second goalkeeper for a Champions League. You just know it's gonna happen.
First team, Manchester City, Memo Ochoa. Next season, no, I'm not. Never mind. Go ahead.
And well, now that the big rumors finish, Rodrigo Huescas from Cruz Azul, the rumor that he's going to PSV is gaining a lot of traction, and it seems like it's gonna happen. They're saying he has people on Eindhoven, the home of PSV, so maybe he goes there. Who knows? And well, I hope he will fit there. I really like him as an attacker and as a fullback. They might use him. Who knows? And moving up to America, by America I mean like the continent. Luca Martinez Dupuy from Rosario Central is a Mexican double national, I think. Seems like he will go to the Rebelo, the Toulouse tournament. Last year we talked about it. It's a really cool youth tournament, so I hope he does well there. And now that we're talking about that, there seems to be like some weird thing that Marcelo Flores' dad tweeted about it, like a Mexican flag and a couple of circles, one red and one white, and a football ball. I'm not great with hieroglyphic, so I don't know what what he means. We need to uncover it, like get experts. So the rumor is that Marcelo is gonna go to Rebelo, same as Luca Martinez Dupuy. That will be great. That will be awesome for Marcelo. It's a great tournament. That's where we saw Jonathan Herrera, like getting on the group.
Yeah, that's why he became what he is right now. And I think Marcelo's used to playing Marcelo's used to playing with this like type of age group, you know what I mean? So he's been killing at Arsenal against these players and in the Premier League, the youth Premier League, but still. And I think, it'd be great. He is a little rusty. I think he hasn't had as much playing time, but it'll be interesting to see just how good he does. And before you go on to the next one, we gotta say, man, official Chivas Tigres to the final. How you feel about that, man?
You want a cool trivia?
What is it?
Last time Chivas won a final, they played against Tigres.
Is it destiny? We'll have to see. Either one, it's going to be a great final. I think there's some couple Mexicans that could be, used to as an exhibition, for Europe. You don't know. A lot of them are kind of old, but this is the big stage in Mexico. We'll see if some big team is going to be watching. But what else did you find, Nick?
The final one is something we've been hearing some weeks ago. Like Julian Araujo, it's weird to say it, Julian Araujo from Barcelona. It seems like he's gonna get loaned. Like they're gonna try to loan him to a La Liga team that so he can like get in the group of of the league. You know, like it's tough for a especially such a young player to get into the kind of rhythm that La Liga has, especially if you come from MLS where no one defends. So let's hope he does well, but I don't have I don't think he will ever play with Barcelona. I think he will get sold, maybe to a La Liga team. Maybe he will get, at least to that level. But I can see him right now. Hopefully, I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little weird, like the dynamic they do, and like, oh, we bought you, and then not quite yet. Let's go ahead and like ship you out over here real quick. Which, I mean, I get it's a strategy with a lot of the teams, but if he wasn't able to make like a big impression to at least play with the youth team with Rafa Marquez, then we'll have to wait a little bit. I do believe him. I think he's a good player. I think he can maybe get there. We never know what's gonna happen, so we're definitely gonna keep an eye on him and talk about him here in Tacos and Aropas. So be sure to listen to us so that you can have all the updates on Julian Araujo and all the players that play in Europe. But alrighty, I think that's all. That's going to be it for this week. Thank you guys for listening. I am Jorge.
My name is Edgar.
See you guys on Monday. You guys have a great, great week.
Nobody know better than you. I messed up on the other podcast.
It's okay. Listen to both.